Hi and welcome to the second part of our discussion on data manipulation using dplyr package. Here we go ahead with a range function which rearranges the observations based on a variable. For instance, here we rearrange our observations based on the variable tip from largest to smallest. If you do not use this descent function, then the observations will be arranged or sorted from smallest to largest. We can also use a categorical variable to arrange our observations, for instance, based on the value of gender, first females, then males. The next function under dplyr package is select function, which is used to select one or more variables out of our data frame. For example, if we want to create a subdataset where we have only the numerical variables, what we can do is we write select our data frame, then total bill, tip, and size. This new dataset containing only these three numerical variables. Another useful function is everything. If you want to have a specific column at the beginning, right on the left-hand side of your data frame, you can write that variable here and then use the everything function, which brings all other columns right after this column. Now you can see here we have the size column first, followed by the other columns. You can add more columns at the beginning if you wish, then followed by everything, which adds everything else after it. We can choose more than one consecutive column by using the colon. For instance, from the variable tip up to the variable smoker, we can select tip, gender, and smoker using this colon function. We can use the negation to exclude certain columns from our new sub dataset. The next function which comes under dplyr is the function rename, which can be used to rename a column or columns in our current data frame. The next function under dplyr package is mutate, which can be used to generate new variables using data on existing variables. For instance, if we want to create a total spending for each customer by adding the total bill plus the tip that they pay, what we can do is we apply the mutate function to our data frame and then define our new variable to be total bill plus tip, and then we hit this. We see that we have a new column being added at the end, which is the total cost. The other useful function which comes under dplyr package is the summarize function, which can be used to generate different statistic summary of different variables in our dataset. For example, if we want to find the mean of total bill and tip, we can apply summarize our data frame, then the mean of total bill, the mean of tips, and then you can go ahead and see how much they are. Remember that you can calculate other statistical summaries such as standard deviation, variation, range, median, and so on and so forth. A good combination with the summary function is group by. What we do is here we first group by our observations using a variable. For example, here we group by our observations based on gender, female customers one group, male customers another group. Then we apply our summarize function on gender, which is the grouped version of our dataset. Then we calculate the mean of total bill and standard deviation of total bill. What it does is it calculates the mean of the total bill for female versus male customers. As you can see, on average, male customers are paying more than female customers, as well as standard deviation of the two groups. And as we can see, the standard deviation of the male group is higher than the females, meaning that there are more variation and more differences among the total bill of male customers compared to female customers. Next function which comes under deployer package is the pull function, which extracts a variable out of our data set and present it as a vector. And finally, sample n function, which comes under deployer package, is used to draw a random sample of a specific size from our dataset. Remember that in total we have 244 observations. Now we want to select a random sample of 80 out of this 244. What we do is we apply sample underscore n df tips, then the size of the sample, and what it does is it selects 80 observations randomly out of our 244 observations.